Hello everyone, welcome back to another video of atACC ERP. In this video, I'm gonna give you a small demo of atACC ERP. So as you can see, I installed atACC ERP in my system. So these are the shortcuts we can access from the desktop. So we have atACC ERP here. We have CRM, tailoring management system, restaurant management system, mobile sync. So as a basic step, we have to create a new company by using atACC ERP. So this is the one you need to open first time. So let's start with atACC ERP. Just open the shortcut from the desktop. There you can see the list of companies. So I already created a demo database here. So just open it, your company, and it will load to the login screen. And normally the username and password is admin. So whenever you create a new company, you can use admin as default username and password, and you can see the financial period and location. You can change it after logging in the company. So let's log in and see what we have as default. As you can see here, you cannot see the dashboard. Actually, there is no dashboard here, which means you created a fresh company and you have to enable it based on the user. And on the left side, you can see the dashboard, accounting, inventory, and administration as default. And if you want, you can add favorites as well. So after logging to your new company, you have to set some mandatory fields, mandatory configurations before starting any transaction. So let's start with that. First, you have to use administration. There you can see master's company. So you have to change your country here to set your currency. So here, if you change into anything, for example, if I select Saudi Arabia, here you can see Riyal and Halala. Okay. So based on that, you can fill all these things. You can fill your street name, building number, whatever required, you can fill it. And also there is VAT number and all other fields if you want to. All the mandatory fields you have to fill. You can change number of decimals. You can add number of decimal in quantity, like 3 digit, 4, 5, whatever you need, you can just fill it. So this is the initial step or configuration you need to do before doing any transaction. Moving on, the next one is the financial period, of course. So you have to open financial period and you have to create a new financial period you need, or else you can edit the existing financial period. Let's say we have already an existing financial period which is older one. You can see it's 2022 January to 2022 December. So if you want to edit it, it's easy. You can simply edit and you can rename it. You can even change the date, from date and to date accordingly. So once you select, you have to click generate month in order to apply to the grid. So let's generate, and you can see 24 here, and you can rename it if you want to, just like this. Okay. So any method you can use, like creating a new one or editing the existing one. And like I said, you can edit the start date and end date. Even you can select end date like a different year, just like this. It will list just like this. So let me select 24. Let's save it. So once you edit anything in the financial period, of course you need to re-log in order to reflect. So let's just re-log in. You can see 24 here, logged in. Now, as this is a fresh database, we only have admin in order to log in. So if you want more user, atACC ERP supports unlimited user creation, different user creation, of course. So if you want to create different users based on the activity they're doing in ERP, you just need to create it under administration, masters, employee. So here you can create your new employees. For example, I need to create a salesperson. Let's say salesman 1, and I have to select employee type, of course. So select salesman here. Now if you want to give him the credential like the username and password for him to log in with the system, then you have to select user role. So of course you can create different user role and employee type as well. So I'm selecting the existing. For example, let me select inventory manager, and all other fields, if you want, you can fill, including the image of this employee. So you can create unlimited employees like this. So after creating employees, you have to give him the credentials. For example, I want to give him salesman1 as the username, and of course again salesman1 as password. And you have to select inventory manager, and it lists all the employees under this user role. So in my case, just one salesman, so I'm selecting here, and you can just simply save it. If you are providing him a supervisor privilege, then you can enable this. But I'm not giving my salesperson a supervisor privilege, so he's normally a salesperson. That's all. So after creating his credentials, you have to give him the menu access rights. Of course, we need to give him what menu he need to see, what are the reports he need to see extra. So let's select the salesperson here, and you have to select the menus. For example, if you open first time, you can see everything is enabled. We don't want him to enable everything, so just click none and it's deselect. So let's try to give him a normal transaction like sales return, maybe sales order or estimation. And in reports, I'm giving him like sales reports. For example, sales invoice, sales return, order and estimation. That's all. So like this, you can give him all his menus and submenus. Now, if you want to give him like a credential, like if you want to remove his edit and delete option for each transaction, you can click it. You can disable edit and delete option if you want. Anyway, I'm giving him all other credentials, just the menu, selective menu. Just click OK, and let's try to log in with his username and password. Let's say salesman1, salesman1 again. So he's logging in his account, where you can see accounting inventory, where you can see transaction, sales, invoice, sales return. The sales order estimation is not showing here. It's because we need to enable it for all, like from the settings. That's why it's not listing here. Anyway, here you can see sales invoice and sales return. So this is how you can give any employee their account. They can use their own account, they can do transaction, it will track. You can filter it based on their name. Now let's go back to admin again. Now if we want to give him or anyone the graph and other things, the dashboard of course, then you have to go administration, settings, user settings. You have to select your salesperson, and you will get more privileges or user settings like salesman locking, depot, rate edit, etc. Even the discount limit, multi-rate, etc. Even the preview is there, sale history, purchase history, everything. So you can enable graph for him if you want to. In my case, I'm enabling graph for my admin. So this is it. You can just double click, or you can just mark this if you want to show even the preview or other things. Of course, this is it. This is enough. Let's try to re-log in with admin. I just gave him the dashboard. Now you can see admin can see the dashboard right now. So this is how you can give anyone the privilege for dashboard for each box. So now let me give you an overall idea of accounting inventory. How you can see here, in accounting inventory we have masters, where we can create all the masters like customer, supplier, bank, chart of account, product, etc. And we have transaction, which we can do transactions based on the master we created. And we have reports. It will list, it will show you the results. We have different filter options. We have very advanced reports as well. And checklist is also a kind of report. It's limited filtration. So let's go to masters, where you can see customer creation. We call party. So here you can see the code is automatic. In ERP, most of the interface, the code is automatic. So if you want to change, you can simply change it, or else you can continue with the name. Let me create a customer, let's say customer 1. You can add all other information like the contact person, the street name, all other things you can create. You can just type it, and if you want to attach any document, you can type the document name, the document number, description, the issue date, expiry date, and you can attach the document view like a file, a PDF, an image, by scanning or capturing or browsing. It is possible. Now we have more details where we can add more information. Transaction details to select all the things like opening balance, multi-rate, type, credit limit, day limit, due days, etc., including the tax number. Now other details will allow you to save bank details of this customer. So if you want a limited details, then this is it. The name is enough. You can save it. So anytime you can come in this window and you can edit or update the information of the customer. Now let's open supplier. Supplier also the similar screen. As you can see, it also have all the details like contact person, contact details, other details, and transaction details. So all you have to do is just give the name, all the information including the document if you want to, and let's save it. So if you want to edit it again, then search for it. Search for based on the ID, code, or name. Double click on it and you can edit whatever information you need. So like this you can create supplier. Now let's create a bank. If you want to do some transaction based on credit card, DD, e-wallet, or anything based on the bank which you need to reflect it on the bank account, then create a bank. In my case, I'm creating a bank 1 and enable merchant account. You can fill all of the details and you can save it. Simply you can create multiple banks. There is no restriction. You can use it at the time of transactions. Now chart of account. So if you want to create anything, any ledger other than this party, supplier, bank, then you can create all other ledgers under chart of account. So chart of account allow you to create ledgers and ledger groups. Let's say for example expense, income, capital, or anything. And when you create a company, on the right side you can see there is account groups which are already created by atACC ERP. So you can see assets, there are subgroups, liabilities, there are subgroups, expenses, income, there are subgroups, etc. So you don't need to create parent groups, but if you want to create it based on your requirement under this main group, then you can simply click on account group here. The code is automatic. Just type it here. Like let's say I have indirect expense and I need to create let's say office expense under here, suppose. Okay, so let's try to create, for example, staff expenses. Okay, now you can see staff expenses I created under indirect expense. It's under indirect expense. Here you can see staff expenses. This is the group. We can create different groups under main group. Even you can create more subgroups if you want to. Now if I want to create an expense under this staff expenses, then let's try to create, for example, staff food expenses. Staff food expense. So put it under staff expenses. Just search for it and save it. So this is how you can create different ledgers under each parent group. So like I said, you can see all the groups here, like the parent groups here. You can select one by one and you can save it. So this is how you can create any ledger. So you can literally create capital. If you want to create a capital, there is capital. You can create owner's fund. Under capital, you can create capital in different names if you want to. So like this, you can create chart of account. Now if you want to create a product group, yeah, it's simple. You can create product groups. For example, let's say soft drinks. If I want to create a group under it, like let's say Pepsi, Instead of master, I can select soft group, which is a subgroup. Again, let's try to create another group under it, under soft drink. Then this is it. Even you can attach image as well. So before heading for product creation, the product may require some additional settings which you can enable, like units, multi-rate, tax, etc. For that, you have to open your module settings. There you can see general, search for it, or you can select from the screen. Let's say unit. I have to select unit, and if you want multi-rate, you can search for multi-rate. If you want to multiple rate like wholesale rate, retail rate, etc. This is the multi-rate option, and you have to select unit-wise rate if you want to set unit-wise rate. Now, if you want to enable VAT, this is it, VAT. Now let's try to create a product by enabling all these. Let me create one product. So once I enable the settings, you can see slab, you can see a new settings here. Just open it. Slab means the percentage of VAT. For example, this is the code. I'm creating VAT, let's say 15%. This is the name, and you have to select VAT here, and start date and date, it will automatically pick from your financial period. Now let's give the value 15 without any sign at all. If it is inclusive, you can enable inclusive. In my case, it is exclusive. There is a calculation method, which means taxable amount equal to quantity into rate minus discount. This is what I need, so I'm just saving it. So this is how you can create. This is one-time creation. Now let's try to create a product here. This is the product creation window. And like I said, ERP will provide you automatic code. It's PRD1. You can change it into anything like AB1, whatever name you need, or just the number you need. You can just save it, and the next time it will increment. And here we have international barcode, which you can add a lengthy barcode. So when you try to create a product, when you scan this or you type this, it will identify the same product, and also the code will also identify the same product. So this you can use for barcode. This is what you can use for international barcode. So on the right side, you can see the master, soft drink, cola and Pepsi. This is two groups I created. Let's try to create some product under it. Let's say start with Pepsi. Pepsi 100 ml. This is the product I need to create. I can give more information like description. If you want to change keyboard language, and you can use any language input. That's the specialty of atACC ERP. You can use any language. Okay. So you can show it in your print at the time of invoice. Now let's select the group Pepsi, and there is so many information like active or inactive for the product, or non-stock for just let's say for service, or wave scale if you want to, or to make this product wave scale enabled. Here you can select a minimum reorder, or let's say maximum. So when the product reach the quantity like 10, 11 or 20, it act like minimum, reorder, maximum. Now let's try to do a rate like purchase rate. Manually input purchase rate. You can manually input the sales rate, or you can use profit like a percentage, like 30% upon the purchase rate, 3, which means 13, like this. So you can mention MRP, and you can give, for example, out of 13, 12 is the final rate. We cannot sell the product, or let's say your salesperson cannot sell the product less than 12. So minimum sales rate will block. We have blocking option. So you can mention like this. And this is all not mandatory. The mandatory field is code, name and product group. All other things you can change it anytime. Now let's go to the unit. Here you can mention like a unit like pieces. And if you want to mention box, additional unit for the same product, you can sell the product in pieces and as well as the box, no problem. And you can purchase based on box or pieces, no problem. But you have to mention base unit. Base unit will calculate the number of quantity in it in all other area like inventory, reports, etc. So you have to mention box here, and finally you have to mention how many pieces will be there in a single box. For example, it's a dozen. I'm just giving dozen, and it automatically calculates the rate. So if you want to edit the rate for the box, you can edit it. You can give a new barcode for the box. So when you scan the product or you type the product, this code then it identifies box and box rates. And when you type this code, it identifies its base unit as well. So moving on, multi-rate. If you want to add additional rate for the product, let's say apart from the base rate, you have to add special rates like wholesale, retail, or any kind of special rate, then you can use this. You can select multi-rate. You can change the name from the master, of course. You can select, for example, pieces. So usually you sell this product in pieces like 13. So if you want to give him any other person like a 14, then you can select like this. You can mention the barcode. You can select multi-rate 2. You can select another unit or the same. Of course, you can type a different rate. So what will happen? Your salesperson, if your salesperson don't have the privilege to edit the rate at the time of transaction, then this is it. They can select the rate name that it automatically picks what we supposed to to fix the rate. Anyway, so here you can select multi-rate 1. At the time of transaction, it will pick 14. If we select multi-rate 2, it pick 15. Like this, you can add unit-wise multi-rate if you want to. Of course, you can also mention minimum sales rate, barcode if you want to. I don't want it right now. So moving on, this is slab, which means you can set your tax percentage. If you have multiple tax percentage, you can select one by one. So this is purchase slab and sales slab. And we have many other slabs like excise duty, tax 1, 2, 3, additional tax, etc. So you have to enable it from the settings, then you can see it will be visible here. Now, finally, you can add more information of the product in tax 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So what will happen at the time of invoice, you can see the information and also you can show it in the invoice, the printout. So this is it. This is how you can create a product for your trading. So moving on. So here you can create the slab, which I already showed. And if you want to change multi-rate name, search for it, select a name, for example this one, just edit it and you can rename it. And under master, finally we have branch. If you want to create a branch, you can create branches, or if you want to create multiple depots like a warehouse, store, etc., you can use the same window. So multi-branch management system is only available in standard edition and premium edition, but the depot creation is available in all editions. So you have to open this even for depot creation. Now if you want to create a depot, for example, once you install the software and when you create a company, you will get a default main branch, like a branch, and a default depot. So if you want other depots, like for example warehouses, warehouse 1, if it is a depot, then select type as depot and select under main branch itself, nothing else, just save it. You will see it create under depot. And if you want to create a branch, like multiple branches, like branch 1, branch 2, branch 3, like that, then you can just create like this, branch 1, suppose, and you have to select local branch, just like this, local branch, and you have to save it under main branch. Whatever you are creating, it should be under main branch. There should be a parent branch. So like this you can create. And if you want to create a depot under any particular branch, you can select branch 1 depot, and you have to select it depot, and you have to select the new branch you are creating, okay, under which. So like this you can create a new branch or depot. So that's it. That's how you can create masters. Now let's go to transaction side. So transaction, we have sales, purchase, journal entry, vouchers, and inventory. So let's start with purchase invoice. So this is the invoice window where you can see a normal invoice. So you can see the voucher number and supplier name. If you want to select your supplier, just like this, you can select it. If you have multiple depot, you can select the depot here. Or if you want to create new supplier, of course you can use Ctrl F2, or you can use the plus button here. And purchase account is default. The date, if you want to change it, you can change it. There is reference number, reference bill date, remark as well. So if you want to type the product, you can just type it here, the name, or you can scan the product by using the code. Okay. In my case, this is the product. You can see the code, name, stock, sales rate, international barcode, and purchase rate. So let me select the product. So when you select the product, it shows which unit you need to select. Maybe box, pieces. Let's select box. Suppose I need to purchase based on box, and it shows the rate if you want. If you don't want to select any particular rate, you can use default. Okay. So it shows the box right here. You can edit the rate if you enable the edit option. It shows the VAT, all the information. Like this, you can add more products and you can save the invoice. So if you want to make the payment from this screen itself, like this, for example, this is a supplier based purchase, which means a credit purchase. Of course, we need to pay them back. So if you want to make any payment at the time of invoice itself, you can select any method here. If it's a cash, simply select cash and you just type it here. For example, I'm using partial payment, and here you can see 100 payment and 38 as balance. Like this, you can make the payment. This is a normal scenario, and we have section 3 where you can attach any document based on the invoice, any image, PDF or Word. 3 different attachments you can use, and also we have different user fields where you can type your own custom texts based on this invoice. So like this, you can use purchase, and we have purchase return. If you want to make a return, then you can simply select the supplier and you can click on the purchase button and you can select the same. So if you want to edit the quantity, then you can use, once you select it, you can edit the quantity here. So in my case, it's just one box. I'm returning it again. Then this is it. You can just save it, and internally the accounts and inventory will be posted automatically. So like this, you can use purchase return. And if you want purchase estimation or order, you can enable it from module settings for both purchase and sales. Of course, you have to search for order, and you can see enable purchase order. And if you want estimation, and here it is. So like this, you can enable both for sales and purchase as well. My example, I just enabled for purchase. And if you want to create an estimation, this is it. All you have to do is just select the supplier, fill the details you need, select the product or products, and you can mention the quantity you need to make the estimation. For example, 100 quantity, I'm saving it. So once you save estimation, it won't reflect the inventory or accounts. Now, after this, you can simply call estimation into purchase invoice directly, or simply you can call it to purchase order. Any method you can use. In my case, I'm using purchase order, and I need to confirm. Select the supplier. You can click on estimations, and you can select it. And you can, if you want to change the quantity, of course you can change partial order, something like that. In my case, full order. This also same as estimation, it won't reflect the inventory or accounts. And then I can call it to purchase invoice. You can select the supplier, section 3, order, you can select. If you want to use partial order, this is it. You can simply select it and you can call it like this. So once I save it, it reflects the inventory. Of course, it reflects the ledger as well. So like this, you can use estimation, order, and invoice. And we also have material receipt and delivery note for sales. So if you want, you can enable material receipt and delivery note for sales. So if you want to use material receipt, you can call purchase invoice into material receipt or order into material receipt. Let's say if I want to call from purchase, then simply select your supplier, click on purchase and click whichever purchase you need to, or multiple, you can call it like this. And if it is from the order, you can simply click it and you can call it from order. So that's how we can do a material receipt. So if we talk about sales invoice, this is it. This is a sale invoice. atACC ERP have similar screens, similar heading, detail and footer line for each transaction, which So here you can select the voucher number, you can add new vouchers. You can start with any of your custom voucher number. You can just type it and you can save one invoice and it will generate the next series accordingly. So here you can select your customer name, the same like depot, the sales account, voucher, and here we have miscellaneous where you can attach information. All these information you can add if you want to based on this invoice. You can scan the product or you can type the product. So if I select this, you can see box of pizzas. If I'm selling pizzas, I can select like this. I can add information like let's say for quantity I'm selling. So it add the VAT, etc. So like this you can use a normal sales invoice. The payment is here. You can select the payment and you can add all the information. So you can save it. It's a credit sales. You can collect it afterwards and you can see the print as well. So you can export your print format into Excel, PDF, Word, or you can simply email it if you want to. And you can use sales return as well. You can open return. We can select the customer, click on sales, and you can call the invoice. And if you want to edit the quantity, you can edit here and you can just call it to the invoice. So like this you can use sales return. And if you want a delivery note, then you simply go to transaction, sales, delivery note, and its delivery note return is there. Open delivery note. You can call delivery note from sales invoice, or simply you can call delivery note into sale invoice as well. So if you want to call from sales, then you can simply click and you can call from sales, or simply the opposite. You can call the delivery note into sale invoice as well. So let's say an example. Simply use it. So once you save delivery note, it will reflect the inventory without the ledger. And if you call delivery note into sales invoice by clicking delivery note here, it only affects the ledger because inventory is already affected. That's how you can use the calling of delivery note. And other than sale invoice, if you want a POS screen, then simply you can go to the module settings and you can search for POS under general and you can enable POS. If you are enabling POS, you should set a default bank to continue in POS. Like this, you can set a default bank and you can use POS just like this. So POS is a touch-enabled interface where you can use touch screen to add the product. For example, I can choose my groups and the product by clicking it. So it will add to the grid, as you can see. So like this you can add by using touch screen, or else you can simply use barcode. You can scan it every time when you refresh the page. The cursor will be on the barcode. You can simply scan it. Also, you can search for the product just like we do as normal, and you can add the product like this. And it have many more features. You have a voucher number here. You can select existing customer. You can create new ledger. And here you have plus or minus button where you can increase and decrease the quantity of the product. You can remove it by using the bin. You can search for the grid product which you added. And here it's a return mode. It shows a negative quantity and amount. It also have many more features like cash drawer where you can open it by using admin verification. Tax details, wavy scale, you can use this in order to connect with the wavy scale. You can search for the previous bills, payment option. If you want to select it, you have to select your salesperson and you have to click on it and you can see additional payments. If you want to do a quick sale by using POS, add the product, click on the cash button. You can just mention the amount you're receiving and you can complete just like this. If it is a card, you can use card here, and you can set print while saving. If you set a format, it will print accordingly. We have cash, card, and we have button here, quantity, rate, clear, enter. So when you click on this, it automatically focus on each grid. The hold, you can hold particular bill just like this, and you can retrieve it by clicking like this. And we have price checker where you can scan the product in order to check the price in between. Okay, and you can use POS report as well by using the filter salesman wise, branch wise, and sales type wise. It show a report like this. It's a summarized report. Now, other than this transaction, we have vouchers. If you want to collect the amount from the customer or any mode, you can use. If it is a cash, you can use cash receipt. If it is a bank, then bank receipt. If you want to meet your expenses or any payment, then you can use cash payment or bank payment. For example, if you want to receive a cash, you have to open this cash receipt. You have to create a cashier. If you don't have, just type here. Save it. Now, if you want to do a bill-wise receipt and payment, then you have to enable the settings from the module. So you have to enable bill-wise by searching here, bill-wise allocation, receipt and payment. Well, I just enabled it already. Now let's do a transaction. Here you can see vouchers, cash payment. Let's select the cashier, and you can select the account you need to make the payment. In my case, I'm using supplier and I have an old balance here. Just click on it. I can see. Now you can click on it. You can edit the payment if you want to make it like the partial, or else you can simply click it. It shows the full amount here. Now you can click and you can collect it like this. So make the payment like this. So like this, you can use receipt as well. And if it is a bank receipt or bank payment, for example, it's a bank receipt. So here you can select, for example, in my case, let's say customer, and have a balance. Click on allocation. You can see the balance here. Click on it, or you can simply edit it. If you don't want to allocate, simply you can just edit the amount. Okay, no problem. You can just edit the amount. Anyway, I'm allocating it. Now, if it's a bank receipt or payment, you have to select the instrument. For example, check, then you have to select the check number. If it's any other thing, then you have to select its details. Now, if it's check post date the check, you can select a post date or current date. You can select the instrument status, either submitted or cleared. Okay, in my case, it's submitted, so I can simply close this. If it's not submitted yet, if it is a post dated check, it won't affect the ledger. Only at the time of submission, at that time only it will reflect. So you have to select submitted, not to reflect in your ledger. Now, if you want to allocate bank reconciliation, then you can choose bank reconciliation. You can select the date and from date and to date. You can see the customer check. Now if you want to make this into any like bounced, then it will make the opposite, or you can simply confirm it by selecting cleared. The cleared and submitted are basically equal. It affects the ledger, and bounced, it's opposite. If you want, you can change it and you can update. In my case, I'm skipping that. So like this, you can use vouchers, and we have contra voucher where you can add branch to branch, cash account to cash account transactions. Journal entry where you can see opening balance. You can simply type your account. You can select the balance. For example, I need to mention my bank account. I have a balance of 4,000 on the starting of this year, so I have to select this, and you can see. So it will add on opening balance. Now we have journal entry. Of course, we have to select journal entry if you want to enter. For example, cash. I'm introducing a capital, so this is entry 5,000, and you can use just like this. So you can use journal entry as well. And if it is a credit note or debit note, you can use it, and you can select the accounts accordingly. For example, to this customer, discount on sales, so I have to mention the amount. For example, if I want to select invoice, then I can select the invoice. For example, sales invoice, and it mention the voucher number. And if you want to add VAT for this, you can add VAT also. So like this, you can use credit note, and just like this, you can do debit note to adjust the accounts. Moving on, inventory. So if you want to add or adjust your inventory, then you can use inventory menu here, and you can select, for example, opening stock. If you want to add opening stock in any particular location, then you can select it, select the product, and add the quantity. For example, I need to add 1000. This is the cost, and this is the date I need to reflect in my stock. So like this, I can update, and it will instantly update the stock on opening. Now you have excess and shortage. If you want to increase the physical stock and actual stock, if you want to maintain, if you want to increase it from the software, then you can use excess. You can select the depot, the product, and you can simply choose the quantity, how much you need to increase. For example, I need to increase into 60. So you just give 60 and you can update, and based on this cost, it will update. And just like this, you can use shortage where you can decrease. And there is damage where you can make your particular product, for example, this one, in a particular batch or unit, you can simply select it and you can make it as damage. It will reduce the quantity from our inventory and it treated as a damaged product. Now you can use all these things. You can use stock transfer and receipt if you want to. If you want to do a stock transfer, you can select from and to depot, and you can select the product, the quantity, and you can select the transferred person. And from default depot to warehouse, I'm transferring a certain product having that's the quantity. Now let's try to do the receipt. So if you want to receive it, if you have a different depot or with different system, then you can log in with that and you can select the same from and to. Now you can simply click stock transfer, click on it, and you can receive it as well. So once it's complete, it will transfer and receive, and it will reflect your inventory as well. We have bundling option where you can create bundles. For example, if you want to create a main product by consuming other raw materials or other products, then you can simply select like this. In my case, a quantity, I want to produce 100 quantity, for example, and I need to consume whatever raw material I have. I can select it here and I can do the receipt. So what will happen, it will reduce the raw material which I selected here as component, and it will increase the quantity according to this. So this is bundling. And we have unbundling option. When you click on it and you save it, it will consume 100 main product and it dismantle all these products which I selected here. So bundling and unbundling, just the opposite. And we have material issue. For internal purpose, you can use material issue. You have to select the expense account. If you have an expense account, you can use, for example, staff food expense, suppose, and you can select which stock account you need to. Maybe stock branch out or any particular discount, maybe sales. I'm using it for my employee who is consuming it. For example, employees, say 20. So what will happen? It reflects the expense, it reduces the quantity as well. So like this, you can use material issue. And if you want to return it, you can use material return as well. We have stock adjustment. If you want to adjust the excess and shortage in a single window, then this is it. You can simply select the master or whichever group you need, and you can click show and it lists all the product. If you want to update, for example, this actual stock is minus 47. I need to make it like when I count it physically, it showed 67 stock. So when I save this, what will happen from this date onwards, my particular product, for example, this one will be 67 from minus 47. So I can update from this screen itself. It is also possible to import by Excel. So like this, you can update excess and shortage in one window. So that's the basic thing we have in transaction. Now let's move on to the report side. So we have these much reports. We can select day book, cash book, bank book, anything. For example, ledger. It's like this. You can filter it based on ledger wise, group wise, etc. So let me select, let's say, a customer. You can select a template, today, week, month, or year. Let's say year. Let's see the report. So the report shows a history like the debit, the credit, the balance, etc. So you can see here, you can print it, you can export it to any mode. You can simply send email if you want to. You can simply type the email ID and you can send it. And if you want to navigate from this report into the origin of this voucher, for example, I want to click the voucher number and it takes me to the sales invoice or whichever invoice voucher I'm clicking. And if you click on this account, it shows associated ledgers which is reflected on that particular transaction. So like this you can take reports. Now let's do the report. For example, let's do a sales invoice. So we have many more reports here. Let's do a sales invoice report. Sales invoice report have different filtration like summarized, detailed, consolidated, etc. Let me select month and preview it. So this is 1 month transaction. Like I said, it also have navigation option. It also have all these features. Now if I want to change my report, my design, I can simply click on it. If I have a designer in my system, so we are using report builder from Microsoft and I already installed it and it will open. So it takes you to the same report. For example, which I opened here, sales report summarized. So it takes you to the design and you can modify it. For example, you can edit any column, you can remove any column. For example, like this, you can remove anything and you can add more. For example, I need to add one more column here. I want to add any value, a new value. For example, additional round off. Like this, you can add. You can change the color, you can insert logo, etc. You can change anything. Okay. And you can save this in order to reflect it in your system. So you can change it to each system. You can customize your own reports based on available fields here. You can drag and drop, you can remove, you can add all these things and you can save it. So like this, you can customize all of this report. So we have voucher report here, purchase report here. All these report you can use according to the customer use. And inventory related report, debtors aging, due days report, tax report, pending report, etc. And we have profit report here, bill wise report here, daily detailed report here. So major reports, like if you want to check a daily summary report, you can use this. A manager can simply select view this report just like we have everything in one screen. So it shows the cash in, cash out, everything like this. So it's a consolidated daily summary report. A manager can see all his transaction in one screen, like summarized. So like this you can use reports. Now moving to the administration part, we have tools where you can select the backup. You can take backup and restore. For example, as I said, this software is a desktop application. You can simply take backup to any location. You can type the name and you can save it and it will take the backup. If you want to restore it, you can simply restore it by selecting the backup. You have to provide the admin privilege and username. It will replace the existing data. And if you want to set auto backup, here it is. You have to set the location of auto backup. You can select the mode of backup, like while login or log off. You can select backup limit like 7 days every time. You can hide backup window every time. You can save it. And we have many more options here. Apply discount, slabs, invoice designer. If you want to set a print format, simply you can select, for example, sell invoice, set format. You can see the location, our software location, like this. C program files, client ID solutions, ERP, print format, mass format, where you can select the same name. For example, sale invoice. You can select it. It set the location just like this. And you have to select the printer if you want to. All other details you can just apply it. So it will print. So you can use any menu, any transaction you can set just like this. So all the default formats will be available in the file location when you install software. We have barcode designer. So if you want to design a barcode, we have 3 different designers, like normal designer, external designer. So this is normal designer. You can use all these features in order to add. You can use information for the product. For example, you can add sales rate, you can just generate it. You can set the printer, the width, the height, all these things you need to set, and you have to save it the file. So like this, you can use default designer or external designer. You can see, you can select the PRN file, you can select the printer, and here you can see the barcode field, and you can set it. So we can design our barcode from our software itself. We have import option, we have export option, edit log option. So if you want to import your product, party, supplier, or any ledger, you can use import. As you can see the import option here, you can select the Excel. For example, I need to import, we have different template. You can select let's say opening stock. I want to import opening stock. You can select opening stock, you can click get field, and you can see from the software and from the Excel. So you have to match the name, and you can just start importing. If it's a product, you can change the product template or product Excel which you prepared, and you can just use get field. You can see all it from the software side, and you can select whichever you need from the Excel. Now you can import. So like this, you can import supplier, party, product group, product batch, all these things instantly. So that's import option. Now we have a favorite side here. Whenever you do a transaction, maybe it's the frequent transaction you need to add without opening this menu and sub menu, you can simply click on here. You can simply click it in order to open. If you want to remove it from the favorite, you can remove it. If it's a report, for example, sales report, or let's say a ledger report, then you can simply click it and you can add your favorites here. atACC ERP support multiple input language, and it also supports 3 different interface language. For example, English, Arabic, and French. If you want to change into French, you can simply click on it, and it will log in, and you can see everything in French, like this. Now, if you want to change it to Arabic, simply click on it, select it. You can see everything comes in Arabic, and it have right to left align also. Menu, sub-menu, everything. Let's take it back to English. And it have a search option, like I said. It have company changing option here, and admin logout option, and also change password option. So whichever transaction you are opening, whichever menu or any transaction or report you are opening, you can see it here. You can instantly switch, just like minimize. So that's it. That's the overview of atACC ERP. Thank you for watching.